Welcome, minions and visitors. Welcome to Tuesday night. Welcome to the lair. Hopefully, we have a good evening tonight. I got a lot to talk about. So, we will get started here. Again, welcome everybody. Welcome into the Minions lair for tonight. I want to thank everyone right off the bat that is watching here live in the chat. Also, anybody who replays this or rewatches it, thank you very much. I know there are a lot of those folks because I see the view numbers go up that evening and on subsequent nights. If you're watching on a mobile device, thank you very much as well. Or if you're just listening and not participating in the chat, we're still glad to have you here. So thank you to all of those folks. Your viewership is appreciated. If you are here live tonight, even if you plan on just listening and you don't plan on participating in chat, please hit the like button for me. It does help channel analytics. So thank you very much. All right, well, let's start with some greetings here. Right back up at the top, Bama Ninja. He is one of my moderators. He is in the house tonight. Michael Morgan says, calling all minions. That is right, minions, assemble. All right. Leland Phil has joined us. Always good to have you in here, brother. Thank you very much. Mike Reese says he hopes to be tuning in shortly. He dropped by to say hello. He's going to be back. Thank you, Mike. Hopefully, we will see you. Papa Rhino, one of my favorite minions, is in the house tonight. Thank you, sir. Honey Bear 85 is here. Another minion just dropped in. He says, howdy, y'all. It's got a couple little beer icons there. So, yes, sir, I will be having some of those frosty brews with my tacos after the live stream tonight. Dang Ross is in here, says, hello, Knife family. Dang Ross, another one of my minions, one of the newer minions who found his way over here from Tri-State's channel. And everybody knows I'm a big fan of Cole and his lives, so that is what I will be doing after this one. Mike Reese is back. There he is. A lot of greetings going out. Stacy Bolsterblades, one of my favorite female minions, is in the house tonight. Welcome, Stacy. Welcome to the Minions Lair. She's throwing out some greetings as well. She says, hello to Bama, Mimo, Dang, Mike, and a few other people reporting as ordered, sir. Very, very nice. Got a lot to talk about tonight. You don't want to miss this show. If you got some friends out there in live stream land that maybe are forgetting that about my live stream tonight, there will be an extended storyteller time tonight. And I'm just letting you know early, it's going to be about my dad. Okay? So you don't want to miss this. All right? So stick around, folks. Get yourself a comfortable spot on the couch. You definitely want to be here for the storyteller portion of the show tonight. So while I continue doing some greetings and let the live fill up a little bit, again, there's a lot of stuff to tell, and I'm going to have an extended storyteller segment. It's going to probably be at least 30 minutes long, maybe a little longer. We'll see. We'll see how the live goes. Stacy says, "Yay, love your dad's stories." This is basically going to be from birth to however far we get in the amount of time that my live stream runs today, which it will probably be right up till about 5 o'clock or so. All right. But yes, a lot of people love my dad's stories. This is going to be basically, you can consider this storytellers, Grandpa Edge, the early years. Okay, that's what we're going to cover tonight. And it should be fun. I've got some basic stuff to get through, some big announcements to make, some stuff that you guys aren't going to want to miss. So if you tuned in tonight, you definitely want to be here. All right. This is for sure. You want to make sure that you make this live stream. Just real quick, again, I want to thank everybody that watches, listens, replays the live stream. I really appreciate you guys a lot. And I'm glad you're here. Blaze Burger, another one of my minions, says, what's going on, Sharpening Rods? What's up, my man? Good to have you in here. Blaze is throwing out some greetings. Like I said, Blaze, extended storyteller section tonight, okay? It's going to be good. You're going to like it. We're still going to do a few of the other basic things. Freak Show's in the house. There you go. Another one of my minions throwing up a couple of cold frosty brew beverages. I love it. I will definitely be having those after the live stream is over tonight. Yep. Some greetings going out. Dang Ross. Again, Dang Ross came over here from the he's still a Tri-State fan, but came over here, took a look at my channel on Tri-State's recommendation, says, hey, I like it. I'm going to stick around. All right. So I appreciate that. Craig Hamilton, another minion has assembled. There he is, Craig Hamilton. Love it. Another veteran. Makes me happy as a Marine. I love seeing the veterans come in here. Cue Ball is in the house. One of my very good friends and a longtime member of this community, Cue Ball 981. Show Cue Ball some love, please. He's throwing out a bunch of greetings for you guys. Again, there will be extended Storyteller. That's coming up. That is coming up. Yeah. Q-Ball says, I am on a computer tonight, so I can type much faster. Well, good, brother. I'm glad that you made it in here. You're not going to want to miss Storyteller tonight. It's going to be an extended version. Got some other information and updates going on as well. Blazeburger, I just threw chicken fingers at the kids. It should be good for a bit, for about 30 minutes until they're done eating, playing with their food. You should be good, hopefully. And then we'll see what happens after that, brother. All right. So I got a bunch of stuff to cover with you tonight. I've got pocket checks, I've got shout outs, I've got some previews of knives, I've got a bunch of stuff. But anyway, we will get to that in a few moments. I'm just letting the chat fill up a little bit more before I jump into the main part of the show. I know there will be a few more folks in here. What do we got? About 15 right now. We usually get about 40, so we're not even halfway there. So we'll let things fill up a little bit more before we get going here. We got plenty of time. I got time to tell all these stories and get all this information in. One of the things I did want to tell you guys, and I will repeat this later, but my channel anniversary is in December. So I plan on wrapping the channel anniversary and the Christmas 12 days of Christmas celebration that I'm doing. Notice how I am tactfully talking about that. A Christmas celebration, 12 days of Christmas, right? So you guys are smart people. You're smart minions. Put that together, okay? And I will talk a little bit more about that later. Also, there will be a Halloween celebration on whatever the closest live is to that time. Oh, yeah, some people are jumping in. Mike Reese is greeting. He says, Craig, Mother Graven Hamilton. I like it. Gonzo, my man Gonzo is in the house. Everybody knows I love my brother from another mother, Gonzo. I love this dude. One of the first people I met and really got to know in the knife community, and Gonzo and I have talked behind the scenes a lot and tried to stay in touch and remain friends. And I can't wait till Blade Show next year when I get to see him and a lot of other folks out there in the knife community that I really am anxious to meet. Grumpy Grunt, the grumpy one, is in the house. And there he is, folks. There's the grumpy one giving you his universal greeting gesture. There he is. Pow. All right. So, like I said, extended story time tonight, guys. And you will definitely like it. So now that we're starting to fill up here pretty good, let me make sure I'm catching up on all the greetings. Native Wildman is in the house. Well, man, I'm sorry I haven't got a hold of you yet. I will be off next week. I will be sure to, you and I will touch base then, I promise. More on that a little bit later. Stacy says, I don't celebrate Christmas. Not sure if I should be there or not. You should definitely be there. You can call it a, whatever you want, holiday festival. Let's call it, for Stacy, we'll call it, Stacy, you can consider it a holiday festival. Okay? That live stream will be holiday festival for you. What happened to Bam Ninja? He had COVID, but he was in here earlier in the stream and said hello. So I suspect he will jump back in later. But I think he's doing okay from the last couple times I've talked to him, so that's good. Let's see who anybody else here I'm missing. Craig, Native Wildman, I already greeted. Papa Rhino, I already greeted. Oh man, the comments are starting to roll in now. Let's see. My middle finger broke off, the one you gave me at Blade Show, Grumpy. Festivus for the rest of us. That's what Papa Rhino said, right? Good to go. Halloween over Christmas. I agree. I like Halloween. I will be doing a little Halloween celebration. Hint, hint. Okay. I'm trying not to use other words in the live stream because I don't want to bring a undesirable element in here. David Iverson, hello, Eionan's Edge, and everyone. Another one of my longtime minions, David Iverson, has assembled here at the lair, and he is in the chat tonight. Thank you, sir, for stopping by. Oh, here he is. Here's another one. This is a longtime minion, Byron Kennedy. He not only is he one of my minions, but he's been following the channel for a long time. So I really appreciate you being here, Byron. Again, extended storytellers will be starting after I get through some information. Got a lot to tell you guys. We got plenty of people in here, though. So why don't we start throwing up pocket checks while I finish greeting everyone? And besides your pocket check tonight, I would like to know if you carry anything that you feel is lucky or it has extreme sentimental value. So do you carry anything that has sentimental value or you feel brings you good luck? Okay, so you carry that with your pocket check. And just let me know what that is, all right? And start throwing them up for me. Start putting your pocket checks in there. And let me know if there's something lucky or sentimental that you carry on a regular basis with your EDC gear. Lots of greetings going on. Grumpy said, no problem, Q-Ball. He's going to get you a new Grumpy Grunt Monkey with all of its digits, including the important one. Let's see. Ed Harrison's in here, too. Another minion has assembled here in the Minions lair. He said, what's up, Eionans and everyone? Good evening. Iggy is in the house. Campfire Leatherworks, another faithful minion here. Also, you want to go check out her stuff. I have some really cool stuff coming for myself and Mrs. Edge from Campfire Leatherworks. It looks really beautiful. I cannot wait to get it in hand and show you guys on the live stream and shill for her and show off the stuff that she made. But yeah, so definitely go check out Iggy's store, Campfire Leatherworks. You can find that over on Instagram as well. All right. CPM is in the house. Yes. Rest in peace, Aaron Hope. So sad. I did hear about that today. I posted in response to Rosecraft Blades. They mentioned it. Very sad day for the shooting and knife industry. Aaron Hogue, the owner and originator of Hogue, had passed away. So hopefully that doesn't mean anything bad for the company, but because they're one of my top and most favorite knife manufacturers out there. But yes, that is very, very sad news. I'm not sure if KC doing a Halloween live or not. Mine probably won't be on Halloween. It'll probably be on whatever the closest Tuesday is, probably that Tuesday right before. Yep. How you doing, Iggs? Let's see. But anyway, yes, I will be doing one, and I don't think it will really matter that much if Casey's doing one on the same day as me or not, but I don't think that will probably happen. Pocket checks, folks. Throw up your pocket checks. All right, let's see. Lots of greetings going on. I love that. Yep, and that's cool. Michael's throwing out links. Michael and Gonzo, please feel free to throw out whatever channel links you want to throw out and support anybody out there. I would love to get channel links out. And if you are new or you have a new channel, hit up one of these guys on here, either Michael Morgan or Gonzo, and have them throw your channel link up. I would be glad to do that if any new channels pop in the stream here. All right, so just lots of greetings going on. Love it. Stacy Bolster Blades. I got my Mallory Forest, which is sentimental, waiting on my exclusive small Centros. There you go. All right, so this is the beginning of pocket checks. And again, let me know if there's anything lucky or sentimental that you carry in your pocket on a regular basis. Craig Hamilton has the Kaiser Drop Bear, now with black micarta scales and a black wash blade. Very nice, sir. Byron Kennedy throwing out some greetings. Leland Phil's back in here. Case Trapper S35VN, Leatherman Free P2, an Olight S2R, and a tactile turn Ultim pen. Very nice, sir. That's a nice carry. I like it. Darnell B85, another faithful minion, has assembled here in the Minion's lair. Thank you, sir. for coming in tonight. I will repeat this. There will be an extended story time tonight. I got a lot of stuff to get through. I want to get through pocket checks, but I hope to do at least a 30-minute story time tonight before the end of my live. Don't go away. Don't leave. Don't let anything distract you. You're going to want to hear this. This is going to be Grandpa, Papa Edge, Papa Edge, my dad. It's going to be about him, and it's going to be the early years, okay, leading into the middle of his life, hopefully, depending on how far I get. Mike Reese is carrying a Copper Elementum Caviso exclusive blue carbon fiber tie penguin. Oh, nothing lucky, though. You never know, man. You never know. One of those nights could become lucky for you. Dang Ross carrying a Kaiser drop bear today because I got some burgundy Mike Heart of Scales for it yesterday. Oh, already Mike Heart of Scales for drop bears. I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought it only came in a couple colorways and that's it. So that's very cool. Cue Ball has today. I have both my TRM Shadow and American Blade Works Model 1 tie with me. Very nice, sir. You'll see why I say that when I tell you what I got in my pocket. Still more greetings going on. Grumpy says, nothing lucky or sentimental. I carried a QSP large penguin, beyond EDC contact, and a Kaiser drop bear, and an SE Azula. I had that knife for a while, courtesy of the Grumpy one, and I really like the SE Azula a lot. All right. Some more greetings. Gonzo, my man here, says a concept goblin, Kauser Tay. Let's try that again. Towser K, what Kaiser, an S1R2 baton, PT45, and I always have a coin on me as well. Yes, I know you do, sir. Have that little slot on your wallet, your billfold for that. More greetings going on. Michael Morgan is carrying a Real Steel Terra in 14C28N. Mrs. Edge Hank, a Rovivan A5X, and a Jenga block. That is his little fidget toy. Very good. Yeah, very sad news about Aaron Hogue, for sure. I agree. Native Wildman is carrying a QSP Hawk, a CRKT Graphite. Interesting. Rough Rider Peanut Green, and a Case Mini Fin. Very nice, sir. Blazeburger carried a Jig Titanium Penguin with a Spidey Hole mod. I carry a skeleton key on my keyring that used to unlock my grandfather's basement. I don't know why it reminds me of him, but it does. Hopefully for good reasons, sir. I'm sure that is the case. All right, let's see. More greetings going on. More greetings. Sharp Guy ATX says, Revo Warden, I carry a United States Navy Challenge coin. My pops gave me, passed in 08. There you go. So sentimentality and good memories, right? So a gift from dad. Always like that kind of stuff. Just curious. You know, I throw out a lot of questions to you guys to ask you about different things. Craig Hamilton says, dang, Ross really changed the field. I think he's talking about putting the Micarta on the drop bear, and that would be pretty interesting. I would definitely like to check that out as well. Michael Morgan is throwing up some links. If I missed you, Bluminati Ninja, but you are here in the chat, welcome. Another one of my faithful minions. I like his channel. I like going over there and checking it out. Another small channel like myself, but he is growing as well. So welcome, Bluminati Ninja, if you are in the house, and Michael has thrown up a link to his page there. If you're new and you're just lurking, go check out some of these links that my moderators are showing up, right? Hopefully you're subscribed to my channel, but even if you're not, go check out some of these other links. Go over and take a look at their channel, right? Play a couple of videos. If you like them, hit subscribe. Think about hitting the notification bell so you know when new stuff's coming out by them. But it really helps, right? Even if you don't go over there all the time and look at stuff, it's always nice to have a lot of good channels to check out, and there are plenty of them here in this community and in my stream. Honey Bear is carrying a Transparent Knives 80-20.5. Very nice. Obviously, I'm a fan of what he does over there. Raylight Pineapple, a Lynch Northwest AAP 1.6. And a Janky Jake block. Perfect. I like it a lot. Let's see. David Iverson. I carry a 4-leaf coin my wife gave me for sentimental reasons. Of course. Honey Badger Large Warncliffe. Nice. A large double-sided case toothpick. Alox Pioneer X. Hinderer pen. And a CRKT Minimalist. Very nice. I like it a lot. All right, who else we got in here throwing up pocket checks? Anybody else? Oh, I missed somebody here. Ed Harrison carrying the Civivi Conspirator for today. Might be one of my favorite Civivis and is definitely one of my favorite button locks for the price. That is a great knife. It is highly underrated, although people here in the community know how good that knife really is. All right. This is Ed just made an appearance over there doing something. All right. And I will give an update on her as well. Will be got here. Um, he says, hey guys, I just got here lurking, carried the Grimsmo Norseman, Spyderco Schmuck, Kaiser Mini Sheepdog, Civivi Chevalier, and Olight Baton 3. And again, I will be having an extended story time coming up, guys, so don't go anywhere. Grumpy says, where the hell everyone getting these micarta scales for drop bears? I know, like the knife just came out. Apparently there's somewhere you can get micarta scales for the drop bear already. Iggy is carrying the Devo Stout, a nimble liner lock. Well, already, man, two iconic knives right there. Leatherman Squirt, an Ion flashlight, a Jank block, and a Hank. I always wear an Indian head nickel on a chain. Kind of sentimental, lucky charm. Okay, an Indian head nickel like that. That's cool on a little necklace or chain. Lucky charm, good. All right. See, that's what I like to hear. I like these kind of little stories. I think these are cool. Let's see. Freak Show. Jeremy says, I've got the Stout and Smoky Mountain Knife Works Magnacut Deca, Benny's Clip, Midnight Jack, Forest Hank, Olight i5T, a Leatherman Charge Plush, Log and Jotter notebook, and multiple tactile turn pens. No lucky stuff, though. At least not yet. Let's see what else we got going on. There's some talk about the micarta scales. Grumpy says, I'm going to go get dinner while Eionan reads Jeremy's card. That's true. Yeah, Will B and Jeremy always have like the super long ones, right? I need to take a big breath for those. Let's see who else we got in here. Jeremy knows he's well loved here. That is true, man. That's him and this is Freak Show both. G-Ball at the in-laws. Another one of my faithful minions has assembled tonight in Minion's lair. He says, yo, what's up, my brothers? Don't forget to throw up your pocket check, G-Ball, and let us know if you carry anything lucky or sentimental. All right. Yep. Freak Show's just throwing out some greetings to anybody you missed. Everybody's greeting Q-Ball. G-Ball, I'm sorry. Byron Kennedy, here he is, finally getting his pocket check in there. He said, my carry was off-grid all-day Necker, a Cold Steel Recon 1, and an American Buffalo K&T Stockman. Neither are sentimental nor lucky, but an ornate on the dash to small ape, okay, on the dash to ward off bad drivers. There you go. Rob Nice is in the house. Another one of my minions. Thank you, sir, for assembling here in the Minions lair. He is carrying a Hogue Deca and a classic SD plus a slip joint. Very nice. Bluminati Ninja, people are greeting him. I haven't seen him in the chat, but hello to you, sir. Let's see. Anybody else? Anyone else check out the Civivi Voltic? It looks pretty cool. Yeah. Don't have it yet. Come say hi, Mrs. Edge. No, I don't think she'll do that. But she might be showing up at the Winter Wonderland Christmas Festivus holiday extravaganza. So look forward to that. Yes. So I'll give you guys, because we got 33 people in it, I'll give you guys a quick update on that. We're in week 9. Everything is going pretty well. Blood values are good. We go tomorrow for more chemo, but so far so good. Everything is rolling along pretty nicely, and she is a champ. She is super, super strong, and she's doing a good job. I mean, super strong-willed and doing a good job with all this. And so far so good. So just keep your thoughts and prayers coming for Mrs. Edge. She's doing a nice job with the chemo. We're trying to maximize everything we can to keep her healthy. And so far, that seems to be working. So again, send those positive thoughts and prayers, and hopefully we will continue through this process to the conclusion that we are looking for. All right. Let's see what else we got here. I sent my off-grid Black Mamba V2 to Blades and EDC to check out. Yes, I saw that in the picture, I believe. Dang you kids and your internets, get off my lawn. That's grumpy for you, right? There's a little bit of the grumpy one. Joe Kasprick says, hey, everybody, just got done with dinner trying to clean up and the family over, so I'm lurking and listening. Okay, Joe, you're definitely going to want to listen when I get to the storyteller part of the show. I'm going to be storytelling about my dad, and it's going to be the early years from his birth to however far I can get tonight. Yes, Ed Harrison says prayers for Mrs. Ed. She was just in here a few minutes ago with the front door wide open in the house. So, but she won't jump on camera, at least not right now. But she is here. She watches all the lives. She pays attention to all of them. She watches the videos. She sees all of your comments, both here on YouTube and also on Instagram. Also, don't forget, she does have a Instagram account. It is Studio DCT over at Instagram. So if you get a chance, go over there and check that out. There we go. Hold on. Let's see. Dang Ross says, Craig, the stock clip was fine, but I had different mill tie clip on it before. Also, Kaiser now sells a titanium clip for it on their website, $15. So just started that. I think they're talking about modding the drop bear. Bluminati Ninja, there he is. He says, hey all, carrying the CRKT Technician, the Provoke, the Megaron Valona, one of my favorite budget knives. Vosti Nightshade, Kaiser Drop Bear, Kaiser Roach Mini, holy cow, Ganzo Firebird FH31, very nice budget knife as well, very good inexpensive knife. Leatherman Square ES4, Lumen Top AA 2.0, and a 4th ID Army coin, right? 4th Infantry Division. Very nice, sir. Thank you. All right. Let's see who else. Anybody else here? Illuminati. I had to say hi. So just some greetings going on. Okay. What do we got? What do we got? G-Ball says, there's G-Balls. G-Ball says, I have the DLC Titanium Atom and a Quiet Carry Neural Drift. Very good, sir. Dwayne Letterman is in the house. Another minion has assembled. He says, hello to the minions carrying the cold steel engage Asher Spiro carbon fiber today. Gonzo says, we love you, Mrs. Edge. Gonzo loves you. All right. She's another. I have to yell because she closes the door so there's no echo. I started to go get Mrs. Edge IG link like I was a mod. There you go. Michael Morgan is on top of it. I feel like a proud papa with Michael Morgan. I brought him in as one of my moderators, and now he's just slaying it, man. It's great. I really appreciate having him in here. So many thanks, Mimo. Kyle K's in the house. A lot of folks in here tonight. There's Kyle Coonley, Aunt Stacy, Grumpy Gonzo, David, Darnell, Byron. Yep, greeting everybody. What's up there, Kyle? Thanks for stopping in to the Minions Lair tonight on Tuesdays with me. Okay, so we got through most of this stuff, I think. I just want to check and make sure there's not anything else I'm missing. Doesn't look like there is. We did pocket checks. Feel free to throw up your pocket check. If I miss it, at least everybody else will see what you have. Couple quick shout outs here before I move into the meat and potatoes. Obviously, I want to shout out Mrs. Edge, my lovely wife. Everybody knows what she's going through. She does a lot behind the scenes. And I will tell you this. She is working on something that I will reveal at the holiday giveaway that you guys are going to be excited about. It's not a fidget ball. It's not a handkerchief. It's something even cooler. You'll find out at Christmas. All right. Anyway, playing any golf recently? I have been on my SkyTrack recently. I have not had a chance to play golf. We're getting to oversee. That happens next week, which means golf will pretty much end at my golf course until we reopen, and then minimal golf over the winter. But I'll try to get out at one of the other courses, and I have SkyTrack in the garage, so that always helps. Other shout outs, Arizona Meetup Group, October 1st. The Arizona Meetup Group will be meeting here at the Edge Residence. We will be having a bunch of people get together from around different parts of Arizona here that day. That counter over there will be full of knives. I will make sure I take pictures and post them and keep you guys in the loop when that happens. That will be Saturday, October 1st. And I'm very excited to see a lot of my good friends and fellow YouTubers and community members on that day. So I'm super excited about that. But shout out to them. Shout out to Uncle Kyle. He watches all my lives after the fact when he gets a chance. Thank you, sir. Hang tough. Stay strong. You know the community is behind you. I know it's been a big change for you. So I would definitely remind you that we're all here for you. We're all thinking about you, brother. I want to shout out Jacob Lundquist at Kvist Blade Works. I want to shout out Lefty EDC. I don't know if he's in the stream tonight. He popped in here last week and a couple weeks back, but I want to shout him out. Did me a solid on something, and I really, really appreciate that. I want to shout out Asher Knives. I want to shout out Blade Banter, David from QSP. And I also want to shout out Nick Riggy. All right. All people that I've had really positive interactions with lately. And I'm really, really glad to have got to know all of those people a little bit more. G-Boss, I wonder what happened to Liangma shipping the pre-orders out. Don't know anything about that. Sorry, sir. Let's see. G-Ball, I got a notice stating there was a Q. Oh, so this is it. Q-Ball is responding to that, to the question about the Liangma knives, the production knives. G-Ball said, Q-Ball says, I got a notice stating there was a QA issue delaying things. Okay, right? So there's a quality control issue. Got it. Okay, that makes sense, right? You want the stuff to be right. Also, Michael just threw up a link here to my Creator Spring or my Teespring shop. I do have swag. I use any money that comes from that, which is minimal, to help offset shipping and handling for things. 12 days of Christmas celebration, 12 opportunities for celebration amongst you guys. So there will be a lot of things being shipped out. Or I'm trying not to use certain words here. I don't want to draw anybody in. Grumpy says my Riggy jersey video dropped today. I want to talk about that real quick. The Riggy jersey. If you are in my streams and you have not gone over and checked out my video on my channel of the Riggy jersey, or if you prefer Grumpy's, that's perfectly fine. He's my brother. I don't care. We're all in the same community together. You need to go take a look at this little bad boy. Okay? This knife has been designed by Nick Riggy. It's called the Jersey. This is a super cool little knife. You need to go check it out, guys. Go over to my channel and watch the video that I put together on this knife. This is a super cool knife. This is one of the prototypes. These knives hopefully will be coming to market either at the end of this year or maybe sometime early next year. But keep your eyes out for the Riggy Knives jersey. All right. There's other knives in the pipeline if this knife ends up selling well, but you need to go check out the video and keep your eyes and ears open. I will not let you forget, but check out the Riggy jersey. All right. Okay, let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, Ma overpromised and underdelivered. Yeah, I mean that stuff happens though. You know, he's a pretty good, pretty well-known knife maker, and things like that can happen. You know, when you go from making custom knives to making production knives, there's always steps in there that you're not acquainted with, and who knows if maybe some of those steps got delayed and it caused a delay in production. But it's kind of one of those things you have to expect sometimes in the knife market. Drew B. Tunes is in here. Where is Drew? I missed him, but hello. Oh, there he is. There he is. Bam! Another Minion has assembled in the Minion's lair. I love it. Okay, let's see. Belt Loop's here as well somewhere. What's up, Belt Loop 29? Appreciate you stopping in and spending part of your Tuesday here with us. So let me get through a few more things because I want to do storytellers tonight, okay? I did shout outs. Those are done. Boom. Let's see. Preview of the knife I'm reviewing on Friday. This is already done and in the can. Bam. The Tuya Big Belly Carbon Fiber Integral. You're going to want to check this one out too. Really cool knife. Not a cheap knife, but a really cool knife. You're going to want to check that out. The Tuya Big Belly is this Friday's knife review. All right. Also, let's see. I just showed you the Riggy knife jerseys. This is very important. I've got over 30 people in here. If you have been keeping track of the words of the week, which I ended recently to basically give everybody the opportunity to get their act together and get the words of the week. Here's the deal, okay? This is how the word of the week drawing is going to work. The Christmas extravaganza, the 12 days of Christmas celebration, okay? The top prize in that will be the word of the week giveaway. So if you've been collecting words, now is the time to start sending them in to me. After today, I would like you to go to your email box, put in my email address, eionansedge@gmail.com, and send me your username, your YouTube username, so I know who you are. If you're Alan Greywolf, hello. BellLuke29, hello. If you're one of those guys, Josh Branson, hello. All these minions popping in. So if you've been collecting words of the week, I need you to email me, and I need to know your YouTube user ID, and I need the list of the words that you have. You will need 5 words of the week to be eligible for the grand prize special drawing. If you have 5 words, I will include you. You will get an entry into the drawing. For every word that you have above 5, you will get an extra entry. If you have all the words, and I believe there are 16 of them, if you have all the words, you will get an additional 5 entries. Now, here's the deal. I am going to draw those out of a bucket or a hat. Actually, Mrs. Edge is going to draw those at Christmas, if everything goes well. We're going to draw those actual slips of paper out of a drawing basket or a hat. And I will announce that winner live online. That will be the biggest prize pack. And I can tell you right now, I've got a lot of cool stuff for that, okay? This is the only time I'm really going to talk about this in terms of prices. But send me your words of the week. I will come up with a deadline. It will probably be at the beginning of December to give me time to get ready. If you have words of the week, if you've been saving them, I will mention this on the lives going forward from now until December. Email them to me at eionansedge@gmail.com. That is how you'll win. The very next tier down will be very nice, big grand prize. That'll be for everybody who is a channel member, subscriber, and a live stream visitor, okay? Regular visitor. So that's how the word of the week is going to work. So you will have more opportunities to win if you kept track of all the words. By the way, if you feel like going back and watching all my live streams for the last 16 episodes, you can get all those words. They were always in every live stream. Okay, let's see. Here comes the hard part to tell you guys about. So every year around this time, the job that I have, the golf course, closes down for overseeding for 3 weeks. Usually my wife and I take a vacation, an RV trip somewhere for a week or so, and then come back and chill out for a week. But we're not doing that this year. And what I realized this past week is I need a break. And I remember when this whole process started with Mrs. Edge, I said there might be times when I miss a live stream or a Saturday social or whatever. And I haven't actually done that for several months now, but it's time. So after tonight, I will only be doing the Tuesday live streams. I have 3, I believe, videos already, 3 videos for the next 3 weeks for knife reviews already recorded. Those will come out on Fridays, just like normal. I will not be doing a Saturday live stream this week. I'm not going away, guys. This is my normal vacation time every year anyway. I just need to recharge. I need a break. I need to basically get kind of caught up on energy and kind of refocus mentally. This has been a little harder on us than we expected. And obviously, I just need a break. So that's what's going to happen. The Tuesday lives will still happen. You'll probably still see me in a few other people's live streams as I get time. I'm not doing the Saturday live this week. I just need some R&R to recharge and rest. And this would normally be my vacation time anyway. And honestly, going forward each year, when we close and do the overseeding, that probably will be like mid to late September into October is when I probably will be taking a couple weeks off. So I'm not going away. I don't want anybody to think that that's the case. I'm not going away. David Iverson says, time for self-care. Yes. And that's basically all it is. Last Saturday, I had this day where so many things happened and we were dealing with all of our real life stuff. And then I had some channel things happen and I had a whole bunch of emails come in. And I basically was just like, man, you know what? This is getting to be a little stressful. I feel a little kind of strung out on working on the channel. So I'm going to take a break. But anyway, that's what's going to happen. Iggy says, awesome, good for you, Eionan. You definitely deserve it. Yeah, it's just going to be 2-3 weeks tops. So let's see. From the 20th, which is basically today after this live stream, until at the latest the 10th of the 16th of October. But I'll probably after about the 2-week mark, I think I'll be back in pretty good shape, and I'll let you guys know. So the live streams will still happen, and I have knife reviews in the can to put up every week, so that there will still be content rolling out, but it'll be pre-recorded knife reviews that I already did and stored up. And I did that because I didn't know when I would need to take some time off. Now is going to be that time, and I'm going to do that after this evening's live. I'll be around. You'll still see me in the streams. I'm not going away. I'm not stopping my channel. I'm just taking 2, maybe 3 weeks off from content creation and kind of being every day being on YouTube and attending live streams and stuff. So that's how it's going to go, folks. All right. I also wanted to mention one other quick thing before I get to story time. Bama Ninja. Bama Ninja, I made him my 3rd moderator, and he doesn't really have the internet speed where he lives to be a regular moderator like Gonzo and Mimo, who are awesome. So what Bama Ninja is going to be what I'm calling an honorary moderator. He will be the wise old sage who will watch the channel for me when he's here, and he will let me know if he sees any snipers or he sees any inappropriate content, and he can tell either one of the other 2 moderators or myself if he sees something inappropriate, and we will deal with that. So my 3rd moderator is an honorary moderator. That title at the moment is going to Bama Ninja. All right, so that's up with that. He's going to kind of be like my watchdog and my person looking out for snipers and some other stuff. All right, because we don't want any of those people in here. We don't want snipers in here. If you see somebody in here as a sniper, I need you to let me know. Just say sniper, and I'll know that there's a problem, okay? Yes, Dang Ross says he's undercover. Yes, he is. He's undercover. That is true. Right? He's here, but he's going to be quietly watching what goes on and letting me and the other moderators know, and that will be his honorary title, okay? Kyle Coonley says, Alabama not having good internet speed. Nah, the hamster's not running in the wheel fast enough. That's true too, right? That's true. Okay. There also will be a Halloween celebration. I did mention that. Okay. And like I said, the Christmas one, the Christmas/Winter Wonderland one, will be 12 days of Christmas, 12 days, 12 gifts. Okay. Enough said. You're not going to want to miss that. I got a lot of cool stuff already lined up for that. That's right. No sniping. Now, we're not talking about the pew pew type of sniping. We're talking about people dropping in here just to win giveaways. Okay. We don't want any of that. Okay. Yep. No sniping. No turd. Where was it? It just skipped on me. No turd burglars. No, we do not want turd burglars. Okay. All right. So, with that being said, I've kind of pushed through some of this, right? So that I could get to some of the important stuff. All right, so I got like 45 minutes. This is going to be a good story time. Cubo said, unfortunately, I just don't have a lot of time or time right now to post up a huge sale. I'll be releasing a few things here and there in IG every so often. Yeah, Cubo has an amazing amount of really cool knives for sale. Like some of Cubo's knives he's getting rid of, if you just put those together, they would be an amazing collection for most people. So if you are looking for something that Cubo has, I would tell you that all of his knives are in pretty much like new condition. I mean, they're all well taken care of, and he's got a lot of really cool stuff. So like here, he's telling you that he's got posted up on Urban EDC exclusive Tai Nessie, a Pena Tai Zulu, both in Segaha patterns, right? Both with the wave patterns on them, right? So anyway, definitely check his stuff out. Keep track of his channel and stuff because he has stuff for sale, and as he has the time, he will put that stuff up. You definitely want to check that out. All right. Yeah, he says there's a few that have some blemishes, but I'm always honest in the deals. Correct. I mean, some of the tiny little blemishes that Cubo's knives have are like nothing. Unless you expect them to be brand new in the box, which some of his knives are. Josh said, I said, hey, brother. Oh, okay. So, that's Gonzo greeting somebody. Yep, gotcha. Dora the Explorer reference. Swiper, a thieving fox. No swiping. Yes, no swiping either. I agree. I have a new video uploading it about my own tea blend. Oh, very cool. Your own tea blend. Wow. Cool. Gonzo said if Cue Ball would ever post the dang things. Yep. Kyle Goonley, not to hijack Cue Ball's sale, but I'm selling off a buddy's collection for him. DM me if you want info. Yep. And another reason why, guys, I'm anxious to probably by the end of the year this will happen to get to the 500 mark. I'm at 420 or something right now, is which is a good number, right? I want to have a community pet tab so that I can list stuff up there or I can tell people about other things. All right, so Stacy Bolster Blade says, I'm sitting with Iggy for story time. And on that note, what a beautiful segue, Sister Stacy. I am going to start story time with you. So, people, grab your popcorn, grab your snacks, grab your blankets and your pillows, and gather around. Huddle up here in the lair because I'm about to do Storyteller. Okay, not story time, Storyteller. All right, so I think you guys are going to like this a lot, right? Iggy says, blanket's big enough for both of us, Stacy. There you go. All right, so this is not scripted, okay? I wrote down a couple of quick little notes just to remember a few key dates and everything, but this is me telling the story of my dad's life, or at least part of it to you guys tonight, from the beginning. Yes, story time, story time. Cue Ball's excited. A lot of people come here just for story time. I get that, right? Michael Morgan, his classic line, he says, gather around, children. It's extended storyteller time with Unky Owens. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So here we go. We'll see how long this takes because I'm going to try to tell this in the best way I can. So this is the story of my dad, right? This is the story of his life. It's obviously condensed for time. I can't tell the whole story of his life in one live stream, and I probably can't tell all of these early years of his life in 45 minutes, but I'm going to do the best I can. So my dad was born on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 1932. Depression era baby. Okay. He was born in Hartford, Connecticut, to a mother who was Italian, German, and Polish. His father was 100% purebred French, Canadian. He was a first generation American. He was in the army. So he grew up during a time when everything was difficult. Money was tight, food was tight, right? All of that stuff was really, really a difficult thing for the people that lived in that era. And who he became as an adult was really predicated on that era that he grew up in. My dad, as an adult, was 5'6". Throughout most of his life, he weighed about 155 pounds. When he was young, in his mid to late teens and going into his 20s, he clocked in at about $130, $135. Okay, so he was a small, wiry dude. As a result of being small, and his first name, couldn't have known this when they named him, but his first name was Les. So Les, small, short, he got picked on. People picked on him all the time because he was small. He was 5'6", and he was a small kid and wiry. And even as a teenager and adult, he was not a big dude. So that was part of the reason that my dad ended up the way that he was. But what happened to him as he was a kid growing up through the Depression is he had to work. So mom and dad split. Dad went into the army. He stayed with mom. They didn't have a lot of money. Thank God they had some money coming from his dad, who was in the army. But he didn't grow up with a dad. His dad left before he was big enough to really know who his dad was. So broken home during the Depression. And my dad worked, among other things, as a kid. One of the things my dad did was he was a shoe shine boy on the corners of Hartford, Connecticut, in the city. Right, it's the capital of Connecticut. He was a shoe shine boy, and he used to have to fight kids to get his shoe shine spot so that he could shine shoes for a penny or two. If he was lucky, sometimes he got a nickel for shining somebody's shoes out there on the street corner. Occasionally, once in a blue moon, someone would throw him a dime. Okay. Now I realize money isn't worth the same as what it was back in those days, but imagine shining shoes all day for pennies. Imagine getting a penny to shine somebody's shoes, shiny. Like my dad could shine shoes like it was nobody's business. But he had to fight for that shoe shine spot with other kids. And kids always picked on him. So one of the many things that he did was he couldn't afford boxing lessons. So he told me that an older friend of his who actually did box told him that he would teach him how to box. And he did. In his spare time, he learned how to box because he wanted to be able to defend himself, not just scrap with other kids, but he wanted to defend himself. And so that's a big deal. So imagine having to go down every morning to the street corner where you're going to shine people's shoes all day for a living, right? You're going to work as a young kid shining shoes on the street corner to make pennies and nickels. And you know that you're going to have to fight people every day to get your spot. Let that sink in for a minute. You know, every single day of your life, you're going to have to go fight people to bring home some change to help your family pay for food. Okay? So my dad is no longer with us, Gonzo, unfortunately. He passed away several years back. Otherwise, he was a good storyteller too. And I'm sure he would love to come and tell some stories that I don't even know. But anyway, so that happened, right? And then what happened from there? Well, he brought all of his money home and he gave it to his mother. But you got to remember that he's a young man in the war years, okay? The World War II years. So all of his older uncles, all of his older cousins, everybody who was eligible to serve either volunteered or was drafted, right? Everybody in the family was going to serve anyway, but they all went away to war. So he had no father and he had no older uncles, cousins, and he only had a younger sister, okay, who was much younger than him, quite a few years younger than him. And he basically had to go out there every day and fight to earn a living to bring money home to his mom and his sister. Okay. And then he finds out that he's really good at fighting. Like he realizes that when he goes out to do other little odd jobs besides shining shoes, because he didn't just shine shoes, right? On the weekends, he would go find odd jobs to do. He would rake somebody's yard, help somebody mend a fence. And a whole bunch of neighborhood kids would show up. And kids initially would try to bully him and say, look at him, he's tiny, he ain't going to be able to help you build that fence. And my dad would have to fight with these kids, physically fight, throw fists with these kids to earn the right to do a small job and make, I don't even know what they paid back in those days, a quarter, 50 cents for working all day, helping somebody mend a fence or clean up their yard. And then he would take that money home and give it to his mom so that the family could eat. Okay? So this is the lifestyle that he led growing up as a kid. And then he realized that he could pretty much beat up all the other kids. And he told me, he said, I didn't like fighting because I liked fighting. I fought because I had to fight to earn the ability to earn some money to take home to my household as a child, as an adolescent. And he was really good at it. And so what ended up happening was he found out that he could fight in what they used to call smokers. And you'd go into these gentlemen's clubs or whatever, and everybody would be in there smoking cigars. And it was like the people who still had some money. And what they did was you went 3 rounds. And if you went 3 rounds, you got paid, whether you won or you lost. And the thing with that is, it didn't matter who you fought with. So my dad, being $125, $130, or whatever the heck he was at that age as a young teenager, he would go in there and he would fight guys that outweighed him by 30, 40 pounds. And he'd have to go 3 rounds with those guys. So he knew how to make it 3 rounds with those guys, because whether he got paid and got money to take home with him depended upon whether he could make it 3 rounds with a guy who outweighed him by 30 pounds. Think about that for a second. He willingly went and did this all the time. Okay? So, I'm not trying to brag, but that's a pretty badass thing for a young man to have to do, right? It shows a tremendous amount of character that you're willing to get in the ring with people who a lot of times were bigger than you. And he said, I won some fights. There were times when I won fights, right? He goes, and if you won, you got more money because the other guy didn't go 3 rounds. So you got that money too. But you knew if you made it 3 rounds, you were going to get some money that you were going to be able to take home to the family. So World War II happens, and that's a pretty bad thing, right? And in the midst of World War II, in 1944, I'm nervous telling this story. I really am. I hope you guys are enjoying this, okay? So, right, my dad didn't, he didn't have formal boxing training or any of that stuff, but he did what he had to do. So in 1944, my dad was 12 years old, almost 13. He had a ticket, and I don't know where he got it, he just had a ticket. So if you have followed me through from the beginning, you know the story of how I got my first knife. My dad gave me my first pocket knife at age 10, and he told me this story. Okay? This is why he gave me a pocket knife as a young man. My dad was 12, almost 13 years old in 1944. War was still going on. We were starting to win. It was starting to come to a close. But again, he got a ticket to the circus in Hartford, Connecticut. He went there that day. He went in the big top. He sat up near the top of the bleachers. A fire broke out. It's a very famous fire. And it's in the National Public Archives. And it's also, there's a wiki article on it, which I'll show you guys in a minute. But anyway, he goes there and he sits in the bleachers and fire breaks out. Now, they coated the tent with 1,800 pounds of paraffin wax to make it waterproof. Well, what happens when fire hits wax on the top of the tent? It starts raining fire. So this giant ball of flames happens. The tent catches on fire. There's fire dripping everywhere. People are panicking. People are screaming. People are, it's a horrific scene. And my dad, after seeing all this, manages to pull himself together and realize that he can jump off the back of the bleachers into the straw. And he takes out his pocket knife and he saws a hole in the flap of the tent and he escapes. Okay, and he lives because he had a knife, a sharp knife. Okay. Now, many years later, after my dad died, I find this thing in the National Public Archives, and it's also, there's a little clip of it condensed on Wikipedia. So I'm going to give you that information now. So I'm going to do a screen share real quick, okay? Just so that I can show you this information. Okay, so here we are. So the middle part of this screen share is what I'm going to read to you. This tells you my father, I told you his experience. Now I'm going to tell you a survivor account. Survivor Maureen Kriekinen was 11 at the time of the fire, lived on the same road upon which the circus was held. On the day of the event, she was supposed to go with the neighbor and her daughter. When she went to their house, she found they'd already left without her. She decided to go to the circus on her own, where she was seated herself in the bleachers. Now, this part is her actual account of what happened. She says, I remember somebody yelling and seeing a big ball of fire near the top of the tent. This ball of fire just got bigger and bigger and bigger. By that time, everybody had panicked. The exit was blocked with cages that the animals were brought in and out from. And there was a man taking kids and flinging them over the cages to try to get them out, save their lives. I was sitting up in the bleachers and I jumped down. I was 3/4 of the way up. You jumped down and it was all straw underneath. Now, here is the interesting part, folks. There was a young man, a kid. He had a pocket knife. He slit the tent, took my arm, and pulled me out. As she was being pulled out, Creakin grabbed another little girl's arm and pulled her out as well. That, folks, was my dad. And that story that I just told you is the story that he told me at 10 years old when he handed me my very first pocket knife. He said, I hope you never need to use this knife to save your life like I did. But guess what? If you ever need it, you'll have it. And it better be sharp. And if it's not, you tell me and I'll show you how to sharpen it until you get old enough to do so. That's how I got my first pocket knife. But more importantly, that is the full circle story of why my father always carried a pocket knife. And years later, shortly before he died, he did get to talk to that woman that I just read her account from. And she said, you are the young man who saved my life. I never knew who you were. Because he didn't stick around and say, hey, I saved you. That's not who my dad was. Anyway, imagine going through that situation at 12 years old, just shy of 13. You sit there and you watch all this horror. You watch all these people who died in a horrific fire live in front of you. You're in the bleachers watching this like it's a show, like it's a circus. But you have the presence of mind to snap yourself out of the terror and horror and fear that you're in, jump off the bleachers, cut through the tent, and bring two other little girls with you to safety. 2 lives that were saved, and countless children, grandchildren, and all that stuff along the way. I would not be here if it was not for my dad being brave enough and cunning enough to cut through the tent and save his life and 2 other people's. Now, when he told me the story, he never told me he saved anyone else's life. He never told me 2 little girls escaped with him. I found that out years later when I read this article in the National Public Archives and this wiki article, and I contacted the family, and they said, yes, your father did eventually get in touch with my mother through her survivor account. They did talk. He is the person who saved her life. If you're a badass little kid who fights for money to give to your family, you are probably a pretty brave little son of a bitch. And when that fire happens, he was a brave kid and he saved people's lives. So I'll always be proud of my dad, if for nothing else he did in his life, for that day. But that really had an effect on him. It really affected him as a person. Okay? He'd always grown up a fighter. And he never told me the story again, but he said, a lot of things happened when I was a kid, because it took me a long time to work past those and move on with my life. And that fire was one of those things. So my dad grows up, becomes a teenager. He ended up in a reformatory school in the Connecticut area for children because he didn't have a father. He didn't have father figures. He had a cousin who was around his age that he was good friends with, and he grew up tough, right? He wasn't a school kid. He was the kind of kid who knew how to fix things. He knew how to work on things. He had a knack for mechanics. And thank God that got handed down to me. I got that gene. I can fix anything. It doesn't matter what it is, right? But here's the thing. He didn't finish high school. He went to reformatory school. He didn't fit in there. He fought with other kids. Everybody tried to pick on him. He was always whipping people's asses because they wouldn't respect him. And as he told me, he goes, I didn't make it in reformatory school because everybody there wanted to fight with me. And I wasn't going to take anybody's shit. I had been through too much as a child. I had lived through some disasters. And I didn't want to have anybody disrespect me, right? I didn't want to have anybody tell me that I wasn't good enough or that I didn't deserve to eat or I didn't deserve, to have the same life that they had. And so as a result, I had to fight my way through being in a boys' home, a reformatory school, right? And my dad did go back there years later before the place closed. Like as an adult, he went back there years later just to kind of remind himself. He said, I went back to remind myself of what I'd been through. and what I'd survived. Okay. So he didn't finish high school. He started taking jobs in the trade industry. Back then, after the war, there were lots of jobs in the trade industry, and he ended up driving trucks and delivering supplies. So one of the first trips that he had driving trucks, or one of the early jobs he had driving trucks, he's driving a truck and it has a whole bunch of these giant steel pipes strapped to the flatbed part on the back of the truck. And he said, I was young and I wanted to get all the deliveries done quickly. And I wanted to show my boss that I was a good worker, and I always showed up for work on time. He goes, I was always there early. He goes, I would be there reading the paper, waiting for everybody else to show up and for the boss to open the door. I never missed a day. I was never late. I always clocked in and out on time. I'd stay late if they needed help. But he was delivering stuff with a truck. So he's driving with the truck one day and he's going a little faster than he should have been. And he comes around a corner somewhere in Hartford, Connecticut, and one of the straps to hold all the pipes on the truck was not secure properly. Wasn't really his fault, but he was supposed to check it. He was in a rush. He wanted to get these pipes delivered. And he goes around the corner, the pipes come loose, and they swing out off the back side of the truck. And this corner was near a bus depot. These giant pipes, as long as the trailer of this truck, and you got to imagine now, they're hanging off the back of the truck, sticking out. He didn't realize that they'd shifted that much, and they hit the side of a bus. Thankfully, there was nobody in the bus, but he literally sliced the side of like a Greyhound style bus open with the pipes off this truck, like cut it open like a can opener from the front, from the back, all the way to the front. He said it just cut the whole side of the bus right open. Okay. So imagine you're like a 17, 18-year-old kid and you really, really want to keep this job. And you literally slice open the side of a bus with a flatbed truck and pipes. That's what he did. Nobody was in the bus. Needless to say, he got in a lot of trouble for that. And amazingly, he didn't lose his license. That's the part that really kills me. I asked him, did you lose your driver's license? And he said, no. It got suspended. And my work, even though my boss loved me, said, I can't keep you on here. You don't have a driver's license. I can't keep you here. It's an honest accident. Thank goodness nobody was injured. It's going to cost me, my insurance is going to go blah, 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 blah. I've loved having you here, but I can't keep you. This is one of those moments in life, though. The guy respected how good a worker my dad was as a young man, as a kid, basically. And he said, you know what? I know so-and-so is a good friend of mine, and he owns State Welding. And he's looking for somebody to come over there and go to work for him who's willing to start from the ground up, do the grunt work, do the dirty stuff. And he goes, I can make a call for you. Now, remember, my dad just sliced open a bus. He just sliced open a bus with a truck, right? And he goes, I can make a call for you, and I can see if I can get you a job over there. He goes, but you're going to have to be really careful. You're not going to be able to screw up over there because they weld stuff. That's what they do. Okay? He goes, this is a serious job. And he goes, and I can't guarantee you anything, but I'll make a phone call. Well, he made the phone call, and my dad got the job. And he started out doing the most basic grunt work you could possibly do, right? Cleaning up stuff, throwing away stuff, whatever. But little by little, because he had that same work ethic and that same fighting spirit to succeed and to get ahead, people started showing him stuff. People started teaching him how to do the easy jobs. People started showing him basic welding skills. The owner really liked him. Matter of fact, pretty much loved him because he was the hardest worker in the shop, bar nobody. So pretty soon, he started learning from all the old guys that he was cleaning up their shop, sweeping their floors, right? Taking all their filings, putting everything away, refilling all their tanks for him, right? And they would start teaching him stuff, how to set stuff up, right? How to use a torch, how to do all this stuff. Little by little, he learned how to weld. So then they started giving him the crap jobs, the jobs that he could mess up a little bit and it wouldn't matter. But guess what? He aced all those right away. Poof. So then they're like, well, shit. Right? That's right. Why is there 43 people watching and and only 29 likes? Devil Dog is correct on that. Yeah. Did he start out by welding the bus back together? No, he did not. But here's the thing, right? Yeah, everybody wants to know about welding the bus. No, he did not do that. That never happened. He did not weld the bus back together. But they give him a lot of crazy jobs. Like, for instance, he would weld gas tanks on trucks. He could get underneath the trucks and weld gas tanks. And that's a dangerous job because gas fumes ignite much easier than gasoline does. He did all kinds of crazy jobs. He would take any job. He didn't care what it was. He just wanted to learn how to weld. And all the old guys that welded, and that's my dad could weld anything with a torch. Seriously, it's an art form, right? And some people who know how to weld know that if you can weld good with a torch, you know how to weld, right? You understand. Like he said, he goes, I just could see the metal flowing. I could just feel what I was doing. And I really wanted to be good at this. And he was. He was so good that he became the top welder at State Welding. There was nothing he couldn't weld. Right? Nothing that he couldn't weld. And I told you, one of the new guys that came in who had all these fancy tools and welding equipment and all that came in and messed with my dad and played jokes on him, right? Bad jokes that could have got him hurt, like practical pranks in the shop. And so when that guy left for the evening one night, my dad said, I'll fix this motherfucker. I'll fix this guy. I'm going to take a bunch of his wrenches and tools, lay them out on top of his workbench in his toolbox, and my dad welded them to the toolbox and the workbench. He didn't just like tack them on there. He said, I laid these beautiful beads all around his wrenches. I welded them to the bench. I welded his sockets. I welded other hand tools he had for welding. I welded all that shit. Most of it, he said, I welded to his toolbox. I tacked some of them to the side and welded them around. So the guy came in, a whole bunch of his tools were welded all over his toolbox in the morning. And he wanted to kill my dad. He did. And then my dad basically was lucky enough to have the owner of the business, the guy who hired him and owned the business, who jumped in and said, look, you're not screwing around with Les anymore. No more practical jokes. Okay. Consider those tools you lost. But the joking and all of this picking on people and all this ends today. My dad was like, I don't care if you want to kick my ass. Let's fight. And the guy was like, no. We're not doing that. But he told everybody that's the end of the jokes. But my dad said, well, you know, he did all this shit to me. He did these things that were like, could have got me killed. And he goes, so I needed a way to get back at him and say, hey, stop screwing with me. So he welded all of his tools to his toolbox. And he goes, well, I'll fix you. You won't have any tools. You'll have to go and spend some money now. Maybe you'll think twice about messing with me. That was my dad. Okay. That's how he looked at life. All right. He kind of was like a little tiny version of John Wayne. He took no shit from anybody, ever. And that some of the other crazy stories I've told you, you know, Dad did not take any crap from anyone. So here's the thing, guys. That kind of gets you into where he began his profession, right? He began his profession. He began welding. He began learning to be a master at his craft. He went and took the welding certifications, and the guy who gave the welding certifications actually knew who he was as a young man. He's in his 20s, I guess. And the guy was like, literally, he didn't even have to, he literally walked in there and they gave him welding certifications on the spot. They didn't make him test, they didn't make nothing. The guy who gave the certifications knew who he was, and he goes, I don't have to certify you. Gave him the stuff, gave him the paperwork. I don't know how that works, but that's what happened. And I heard that from another person who welded with him for years that knew him in his 20s. And they said he didn't even have to take tests. Like he went in there, he had such a reputation as a welder. They're like, here, they gave him however that works. So that was pretty amazing. So he had some different jobs. And in 1950, when the Korean War broke out, so that would have made him, 32 to 52. What would that have made him? In his early 20s, right? At the time the Korean War broke out, he wanted to go to Korean War. because everybody in his family served. He was too young for World War II. But in his zeal to be a good worker and do everything and show people that he wasn't too small to do things, he got 2 hernias, one on each side. I know what hernias like because I've had one myself. But he went down to sign up and they wouldn't let him in. Told him he had to go get the hernia surgery done and then he could serve. And he said, I don't need hernia surgery. I can do anything these other guys can do. And they said, well, we appreciate that, but can't serve till you get the surgery. Well, he couldn't afford it. Broke his fucking heart. He wanted to serve so bad. So bad. They wouldn't let him do it. But right around that same time, he met my mom. They began dating. They fell in love. They got married. And so he kind of said, okay, I got different responsibilities now. He hated it. It broke his heart, but he put the whole serving in the war aside because he knew he couldn't afford double hernia surgery before he went down there and signed up to go get shot at. I know it's silly, but that's the way it works, right? So after that, he had his oldest child, my oldest sister. A couple years later, he became a family man, and he worked for some prominent companies. Now, I don't know all of them, but he worked for Bechtel, Pratt and Whitney, General Dynamics, Electric Boat, and some other really big company that I forget that did all this master plumbing and heating and stuff for shopping malls. Okay. Plus, he was a welder through this whole thing. He was a ship steam fitter, pipe fitter, welder, master welder. And he got called for a lot of crazy jobs that other people couldn't do. All right. And he really was renowned as a welder. He really was. Like everybody knew who he was. And some people didn't like working with him. He told me, he goes, a lot of times my coworkers didn't like working with me because I knew how to weld stuff correctly and they did shitty work. And he goes, and then I'd have to go back and fix their shitty work. And then I'd get upset because I had to go back and fix their shitty work. Right. He goes, so I got into it a lot of times with my coworker because that's why I never became a foreman, a boss. They would give me the tough jobs to weld because they knew I could do it. He goes, but I never moved up in any of the company I was in. He goes, because I didn't have those interpersonal skills. If somebody disrespected me, we were fighting, right? Or they were going to apologize right away at the very least. So anyway, he goes to work for one of these companies, and in 1970, early 70s, he goes to work on the Hartford Civic Center. He goes to work on the Hartford Civic Center. That opened in 1975, so this would have been 73, 72, 73. He's working on the Hartford Civic Center. He's a structural welder. He's welding up on the roof where all the catwalks are, the top of this building. And my father he goes to the chief lead project engineer on the job. And everybody thought he was crazy. They're like, but what are you doing? He went to this guy. He asked to speak to him. He had to go through a whole bunch of people. They finally let him talk to this guy. And he said, hey, he was like, I need to tell you something. He goes, there's something wrong with the roof of this place. And the guy goes, what are you talking about? Who are you? He goes, oh, my name's Les. I'm one of the senior welders here, structural welders here on this building. And the guy goes, what do you think's wrong with the roof? He goes, it's not designed correctly. He goes, we don't even have all the AC units in and everything up on the roof. He goes, and when you're up here walking on the superstructures and stuff where I'm welding, he goes, there's a tremendous amount of flex in this stuff. Way more than I've seen in any other building this size that I've ever welded. He goes, I think there needs to be extra gusseting in some of these spots. And you know what the engineer told him? He goes, you're a welder. You weld. He goes, I understand from what I've heard that you're really good, and that's why I let you come up here and talk to me. He goes, but you just worry about welding. That's your job. So my dad said, okay, cool. He goes back to work. Short time later, he's up there welding. I don't know if it was the same day, but later he's welding. Some guys that were newbies that were supposed to have bolted all the railings in that on the area that he was working in didn't. They put railings up and left them without bolts. went to lunch. My dad reached up to grab one of those railings, and him and the railing fell 4 stories off the roof of the Civic Center. He caught a piece of superstructure or crane or some crazy shit. It swung him over to the other side of the Civic Center floor, and he landed. Broke a whole bunch of ribs, broke a whole bunch of bones, 2 collapsed lungs, rushed him to the hospital. He lived. 2 days after he got out of the hospital, he called them and he said, hey, he goes, I'm out of the hospital. I'm up and walking around. So I want to come back to work. They told him, no, you're not ready. Can't come back to work. He goes, well, I can hold a welder. I can weld stuff. Don't have me weld up high. There's plenty of stuff to weld in this building. I can weld anything. They wouldn't let him come back. But here he is, right after getting out of the hospital, after falling 4 stories and then being thrown over and falling the rest of the way to the floor of the Civic Center and living. He gets out of the hospital and he wants to go back to work. He's like, I got a family, I got bills, I got stuff to pay for. They wouldn't let him. So my dad got mad. He got mad. And the Civic Center opened in 1975, guys. Okay? In the winter of 1978, during the blizzard of 78, the roof of the Civic Center collapsed. And here, folks, is what it looked like. Okay? There you go. 4 years roughly earlier, my father, a renowned welder who was a structural welder on this building, told them this would happen. And it did. And they told him, stuff a sock in it and go back to work. This is what happened. So when I tell you my father knew his craft, he knew his craft. He knew without going to engineering school, he knew without having to be told by somebody who had a fancy degree that because he'd welded tons and tons of structural stuff on everything from submarines and aircraft and missile silos to fixing shopping mall projects that were screwed up. He told them, you don't even have everything in place on this roof. This roof is not safe. Okay? And there's the results. It was a watershed moment for my dad because all the years he'd welded, all the different jobs he'd had, he realized that he never really got to write his own destiny. So after that happened, my father decided it was time to do something different. So somebody that he had welded with who knew him and knew that he was a hard worker and a great welder and a brilliant guy, despite the fact that he never graduated high school, said, hey, we've been friends for many, many years. You and I should start our own business. And it won't be welding, but it'll be something in the automotive industrial industry, something that I know you'll be able to grasp a hold of and be really good at. And so that's what they did. And that is the beginning of the later half of my father's life. That is where he started his own business with a partner, built it from the ground up, from absolutely nothing into what it became when he retired. So those folks are the early years of my father. Now, there's more stories to come because the second half of his life is pretty freaking interesting too. But there you go. There is the early years of my dad Les. Now, there's lots of crazy stories that go along with that, but I feel like that's probably a pretty worthwhile 40 minutes or so that you guys have sat through. So I hope you like this extended Storytellers. I will be taking a vacation for a couple weeks. I will still be doing Tuesday Lives. That will still be happening. There will still be some content coming up. I'm not going away. I'm just taking some time off over the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'll be back in force. Yeah. So Iggy says, your dad was a true badass and a hero. You can definitely be proud of him. I would agree. I would agree. that despite all the flaws that he had, and there were a bunch of them, that he was a pretty great guy. And he was one of those people, when you talk about the people who built this country, who built skyscrapers and shopping malls and civic centers and submarines and, military, missile sites back in those days. My dad did all of that. He did it all. Right? And he did it all without a high school education. And then where I stop this story is the beginning of him deciding that he wanted to build something for himself, something of his own. So that's where I will leave it tonight, because it's almost 5:00, which means my boy Cole is coming up next. So don't forget, folks, I'm very, very thankful that you're all here. I want to thank each and every one of you. I am humbled and honored to have 40 or 50 people come in this stream every week. I love telling stories. I thought it would be a good kind of way to honor my dad's memory by telling kind of a portion of his life story in condensed version and giving you guys a little bit of an insight into who my father was and how I grew up. So I really appreciate you guys all being here. I appreciate your support, your friendship, your thoughts and prayers for my lovely wife, who is more important to this channel and to me, especially, than you could possibly know. So thank you. She does see all this stuff. I appreciate all you guys. It's Taco Tuesday. I'm going to go make some dinner. I'll see a few of you or a bunch of you over in Cole's Live in a few minutes. Stay sharp, everyone. Peace out.